Welcome to Bleeding Purple and Gold Podcast. So the Minnesota Vikings lost to New Orleans Saints 20-9 in a very close game for 3/4 of the action. Some notes I took. Early on in the game, the first quarter, the Saints had 2 touchdown drives that were very quick, but on the second touchdown, the extra point was blocked. And some other things I noticed. Even though I'm a Vikings fan, it was awesome. The Jimmy Graham stiff arm on Robert Blanton. It was a mismatch for most of the game when Robert Blanton was covering Jimmy Graham. And they changed him over to other stuff, but they contained Jimmy Graham pretty well. He didn't have too many yardages. And, Robert Blanton was just struggling the whole game. Couldn't really get into a rhythm. And Kyle Rudolph early on had a dropped pass on third down. Very catchable pass. He should have caught that. And then Kyle Rudolph was also injured later on in the game, which is sad to see. Especially when we needed some kind of target for Teddy Bridgewater to throw to. And when Matt Castle was under center, I felt like the offense was very predictable. Matt Castle said it's more unpredictable without Adrian. I feel like it's more predictable. Because they're keying in on players like Cordero Patterson that we just had as like secondary options. Now they're our main offense. Asiata does not have the same ability as Adrian. So, yeah, it felt very one-dimensional. A lot of passing, not as much running. And Matt Castle, he was struggling before he left with an injury. His low release point really, hurts him. He has like a tipped pass every game, and he had another one today. And Matt Castle, I felt, was seeing ghosts. He would just feel pressure when there was none. And it seemed like Norv Turner was trying to make Matt Castle into a game manager, because you never saw Matt Castle, attack the defense. He was just throwing it either sideways or behind the line of scrimmage on like a screen pass. And it was not to that much success. But then he left with a toe injury, and it was Teddy time. I was so excited. His first play, they had an end around to Cordero Patterson, which got sniffed out by the Saints defense. But then his first pass was completed to Greg Jennings. Now this was just an exciting moment. Teddy Bridgewater's first completed pass. And, he had some smart scrambles. He looked very poised in the pocket when he first came in. And I have a theory that could happen for the Minnesota Vikings. Similar to how Kurt Warner saw the field because of an injury, I feel Teddy Bridgewater could have the same kind of success. And maybe the Vikings could go to the Super Bowl. But that was early on in the game till I saw how, Teddy did all right early on, and he started getting 3 and outs. And it was his first start, so it was all right. 150 passing yards. He was decent. He still has a lot to learn, a lot to grow on. And I feel like with Teddy Bridgewater, the whole new dimension, like the whole offense has a new dimension. It's not just the Matt Castle offense. It's the Teddy Bridgewater. There's more scrambling outside the pocket. More plays get kept alive. And Teddy had to scramble a lot because the offensive line was horrible. Khalil ran into Teddy Bridgewater and sacked him. That is just pathetic. And his first drive ended in a field goal, and that's all the Vikings got. 3 field goals the whole game. And a funny moment early on, in the third quarter, I saw Cordero Patterson line up outside, and I saw another Cordero Patterson. I saw 2 Corderos, 2 long, athletic receivers with dreads. So I was confused. It took me about 10 seconds to realize one of them was Cordero Patterson, and the other was Marquise Gray. Yeah, that's pretty embarrassing. I felt like uh, uh, the more the game went on, I think the O-line started to get better. There was still some pretty bad spots during the game. And the defense definitely improved after their first two drives. Unfortunately, the offense could not respond. And there was this epic play. Gerald Hodges had an awesome tackle for a loss. And I mean, he was seeing the field a lot, probably because of Chad Greenway's injury and Jasper Brinkley doesn't get a lot of, playing time. And that's when, late in the third quarter, the momentum shifted completely. It was 13-9. It was third down and long. The Vikings had momentum, and they sacked Drew Brees. Captain Munnerlyn sacked him, threw him to the ground, and it was awesome because the Vikings were going to get the ball back. Unfortunately, Drew Brees freaked out and ended up somehow the Vikings got a penalty and first down, and the Saints ended up scoring a touchdown on that drive and really sealing the game. That was the complete, turning point. And then the Saints won. That touchdown gave them all the momentum. And, it was a pretty good game for the Vikings, but it was going to be tough for Teddy. It was his first start. I felt like he made a lot of good plays. It seemed a lot like his first preseason game where he was still, going through some rough times against the Raiders, but it'll come with time. And, the Vikings fall down to 1-2. And next week they head up against the Atlanta Falcons, who scored 52 points against the Buccaneers. Yeah, our defense is going to have a challenge to contain Devin Hester on special teams and make sure Matt Ryan doesn't go off. So yeah, that'll be an exciting game. And I'm signing out. Skol Vikings!